So let's get the shopping taken care of here. We'll start on the top of the list with Riot. What kind of shopping is Riot doing?
Riot she was just going to. She wanted some wax earplugs, but it appears that Serenity taking that. So she's going to just trade in the silver slugs she has to Nolo for some coins to scratch together to pay Serenity.
The slugs are of no real use to her. She runs a junk shop. She'll give you 2 silvers apiece for your slugs.
Okay.
Because she's got to pay to have them melted down, essentially, if she's going to use them for anything. She's not exactly in the resale market. She's not a pawn shop. She's a junk shop. She likes to build and work with things. So, yeah, she'll pay you for just under market value of the metal. So, they were a gold piece, and she'll pay you 2 silvers apiece.
That's fine. All right, so now I have 4 silver to pay Serenity with for the for the wax earplugs.
So, what about Kelian?
He will give 4 silver to Serenity to get wax earplugs, and then he's going to, quote, spend time leveling up, unquote, which I imagine is preparing, in case it all goes wrong tonight, he's preparing himself for the worst and might have to fight off and stab a demon.
He's studying anatomy to figure out the best spots to stab a demon in.
So, at level 3, going up to level 3 as an assassin, you get your Assassinate ability.
Right.
Which, as I recall, if you are
You're at
attacking
your
a
deadliest when you
surprised
get the
enemy,
drop on your enemies. Yeah.
when you're attacking a surprised enemy and you beat them in initiative, you get to roll like a shitload of dice.
It's either. You have advantage on attack rolls against any creature that hasn't taken a turn in combat yet. In addition, any hit you score against a creature that is surprised is a critical hit.
Okay, so you get advantage on the roll if you beat them in initiative, and you get an auto crit if they're surprised.
Right.
Okay. So Serenity, you're buying wax earplugs. How are you going about this? Where are you going shopping in the bazaar?
Yeah, I was going to go to the bazaar.
Okay. What is the price the PHB quotes for candles?
The other thing I wanted to buy were chalkboards and chalk.
Okay. What's the price in the PHB that they quote for candles?
I'm looking it up right now.
Okay. Chalkboard and chalk will say 2 silvers.
1 copper piece.
1 copper piece per candle?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. We'll say 1 copper per set of earplugs. You're not buying earplugs per se. What they're selling you are lumps of wax that you can shape however you need.
Yep.
So if you buy, let's see, there's 5 of you. I'll say if you buy 3 of those lumps of wax, you'll have enough to fashion earplugs and then have some left over for extras in case, somebody loses their ear or something.
I'll just buy 10. It's fine. 1 silver.
Oh, then I'm not paying you anything.
And then how about 5 chalkboards and pieces of chalk?
Okay. 2 silver will cover a little slat of chalkboard. What is the material called? Does anybody actually know?
Slate.
Slate? Is it slate? I said, was I thinking a slat of slate? That
I think you might have been.
I mean, slate is what I would use for a chalkboard.
It could be a slab of
Industrial
slate.
Society. How about anybody else?
A sheet of slate?
Sheet of slate. But yeah, 2 silver for each slat that you want. And then the chalk, the price of that would just be negligible. We'll just throw that on top of it.
I'll get 4 of
Actually,
those.
chalk is listed in the adventuring gear table as well.
I imagine it doesn't cost very much, though.
It's a copper.
I'm going to go grab my books and my dice, and then I will sit back down, and then we'll do the rest of our shopping.
Okay.
Yay.
Shopping.
I think the book that I read might have been... I'm looking them up on Amazon now, and I'm trying to remember what covers look familiar. But I'm pretty sure the book I read was Dance of the Dead.
Yeah, see, I don't think I've even heard of that one.
When the riverboat on which she works as a dancer docks at a zombie-plagued island known as Sarange, Larissa Snowmane must rely on the help of the swamp creatures to save her soul.
I wouldn't read any of the D&D novels, you know what I mean?
I was really young. Like, today I wouldn't read them.
I read a bunch of the Dragonlance ones when I was in high school, and even then I was like, these are a little bad. Like, I eat the Ravenloft ones up, but the Dragonlance
These
ones...
have wizards, but not the wizards that I want.
Who else is doing shopping? Ciclon? Doing anything?
Yeah, I'm giving Serenity some stuff, and then I'm also restocking. Well, you know what? Never mind, because I just realized we're going in a place with crazy ass fucking winds. Darts are going to be fucking useless.
Oh, that reminds me. That is one thing I wanted to look for, is see if I can get a good coat against the cold.
Yeah, that sounds like a really great idea, because Manly Zangief. Manly Zangief dress is only going to last so long in a place like Pandemonium.
Okay.
So let me see here.
He's gonna buy a nice wool mask.
No, he'll still have the mask. I'm looking for clothing sets here in the Handbook of Players.
I'm tempted to just say it would be considered under Traveler's Clothes, which are 2 gold for a set.
Mm-hmm.
Can I afford that? No!
Nope, I can't either.
What kind of clothes are you guys already wearing?
You see that wonderful sprite doodle by Runefox? That's what I'm wearing.
Okay. So that's kind of like entertainer's garb?
Yeah.
Okay. But yeah, the 2 gold for a set of Traveler's Clothes. That's just the price out of the PHB. But that would include a heavy cloak. Didn't Riot steal a cloak from somebody last session?
She bought one and has
she bought a crappy one.
Yeah.
She might see if she can borrow some from Ronroy if he's got any.
Nothing Ronroy has will fit you because he's a gnome.
Yeah, I was thinking that.
Well, he could use it as a hood.
It would be more like a shrug than a cloak.
What about Mahogany? Mahogany doing any shopping?
Yeah, Mahogany was going to go see if he could find anything heavier duty than those earplugs, just in case someone starts getting on the brink of madness. Maybe like 1 pair or so.
So what does he have in mind?
I'm not really sure. I would probably ask around at a couple places to see if they had anything
So
that they sold to like people who had adventure.
Apparently we need to take inspiration
Asking around
from
at the
Star
bazaar?
Topics.
Yeah.
With bananas.
First, you find a similar wax seller to the one Serenity found. And you run the gamut through people who swear using pieces of wet cotton or cloth. If you dig it real deep in there, you can't hear anything. Eventually, though, you come across a barker in the Great Bazaar who is selling dirt cheap, very specialized magic items to make planner adventuring easier. And he's got all kinds of various weird knickknacks and things. And one of the things that he guarantees, or your money back, is a special hat that it's very unordained. It's a piece of what looks like very strong, not plastic. They don't have plastic, but maybe like a porcelain material. And it doesn't cover your ears. It would just go over your head. But he swears, or your money back, sir, if you wear this, you won't hear the Wittens. Specifically made with the magics from the plane of Pandemonium itself to protect against that very specific danger. He has only one in stock. He just sold the rest to a team that went out to Pandemonium 3 weeks ago, and as far as he knows, they are all totally satisfied.
Certainly they have not come back to ask for their money.
I'm gonna roll an insight check.
Okay.
$17.
17. He's giving you a sales pitch. Whether you believe him or not is up to you. He's very clearly giving you a sales pitch. I mean, all marketing is lies, so take that for what you will.
Mm-hmm. How did he get it? How did he get this cap?
Oh, he knows a guy who knows a guy in Pandemonium who crafts them. At a place right at the heart of the plane.
Pandemonium.
At the source of the winds itself, where they're out their loudest.
What causes the winds if he's over at the source?
If what?
If he's over at the source, what causes the winds? I'm curious.
Oh, the plane themselves spawns the winds from the heart of Pandemonium. All planes have a heart, you know. That's how these wonderful magic items get made.
Oh,
and he
yeah.
goes into this
clearly.
whole spiel about planar attunement and how magic can tap into that attunement, and if you do so, and
How much is he asking?
35 gold, and he's only got one.
I'm gonna ask someone nearby.
Okay.
I tell him I'll get back to him, and I go over to a shop nearby, and I ask them how long that guy's been there.
As soon as you turn away and go to ask somebody, at the left side of your ear, you hear somebody say, "You say that hat protects against the winds of Pandemonium? I'll take it!" And he steps up, and they begin haggling over the price.
Nice.
All right, you know what? I don't want this hat. I don't want this hat at all.
And so he sells it to the other bystander for 30 gold.
All right, yeah. All right, well that was fun. That was a good use of the day.
So yeah,
We need more Monty Hall NPCs in this campaign.
Ciclon, what's going on?
all right. So I'm about 5 silver short of being able to buy something a little more hardy for the journey, as far as clothing goes.
Oh, do you want to borrow some money?
Please, if you're willing to.
I've got 4 silver and nothing to spend it on, so why not?
Well, I need 5.
Wow.
You can't. Okay, and when Ciclon says thanks, but I need 5, Riot says, listen, I'm going to give you 4, and I'm going to teach you how to haggle.
So,
Alright.
where do you go to buy Ciclon a coat? Where are we doing the shopping at?
Where does Ciclon want to go?
I'd say somewhere near the, probably somewhere near, probably somewhere off of the Great Bazaar. Close to,
Not
you
in the bazaar proper?
know. Actually, you know, yeah, let's go to the bazaar proper. Yeah.
Okay.
So they go through the whole rigmarole, asking what faction you're with and whether or not you're carrying money. Last time this happened, Ciclon was not wearing colors. What is he wearing today?
He's got he's got his sash up over his shoulder, and he's got the wooden emblem that Mahogany made for him.
Okay, and what faction is Riot today?
Riot now knows that the Inepts have a spell that can tell you what faction anybody is, so she doesn't bother lying at this time.
So she's advertising as an anarchist?
Yeah.
They allow you into the Great Bazaar when you prove that you've got money to spend, but they're keeping a very close eye on you in particular, Riot.
Mm-hmm.
And you find a little tailor shop outside one of the bazaar, selling cloaks, and wouldn't you know it, Ciclon is 1 silver piece short.
Yeah.
All right. So I said Ciclon. You got all the money together?
Yeah, I got it all right here.
All right. Now take notes.
All right.
And I go up to Friar and says, "Hello, friend.
And he bids you good morning.
This is a fine coat you got on sale."
So, only the finest.
What does a coat look like?
It is made from wool, from sheeps from the plain of Elysium.
Mm-hmm.
And it's very heavy. Looks like it's built for a human male, a little bigger than Ciclon, because he has more of a lithe frame than a typical human does.
Okay.
But it would fit him, even though he's a little gangly. Maybe his wrists would poke out the sleeves a little, but very heavy, and it's white.
Okay. And I'll say to him, I believe that. But listen, there's only one problem. The closest coat we could find in your stock doesn't quite fit, and I wonder if we might have just a tiny bit off to account for the difference. We want to give you our business, but this isn't quite doing it for us.
Okay, make a charisma persuasion.
Okay.
Ciclon is just standing there watching.
Okay, persuasion. That's a 24.
Okay. Yeah, he says he can knock a couple of silvers off. He wouldn't want the poor boy to freeze, would we?
Not in Pandemonium, that's for sure.
And he laughs because he thinks you're joking about going to Pandemonium.
Right.
I'll laugh along with it.
And I'll turn to El Ciclon and wink and say, "Pay the man, my friend."
Alrighty. There's gold and then 7 silver. Sound about right to you?
He nods. He says he could take it. Since you're not buying the whole set, you're just buying the coat.
Yeah.
But it is a coat. It's not a cloak. It's not built to keep the weather and rain off. It's just built to keep your torso and arms warm. But it is very uncomfortably warm, almost, in this shop.
Mm-hmm. No, this'll do just fine.
And he thanks you for your business. Best of luck on Pandemonium.
Laugh again.
I'll laugh again, yeah.
Pass Riot back 2 silver and say thanks for that. Interesting. I'll have to keep that in mind some next time.
So what else transpires over the course of the day before this evening? Or are we done with all the prep work?
I'll hand out the wax lumps, give everyone one, keep the rest of my cloak, and let's see, I have 5 chalkboards. How many of us are there? 5?
Yes.
All right, so everybody gets a chalkboard and a piece of chalk.
Okay.
And then I guess we're all going to go to this brothel and lay in wait somewhere.
Yeah.
So let's leave this up to Kelian here. What is Kelian's plan?
Kelian's plan is to go with the plan as told to him. He'll give his weapons to the other party members. They're going to wait in a adjacent room really close. He tells them how to open the portal, meaning Serenity or Riot has to give a high-pitched scream.
The exact term was blood-curdling scream.
Blood-curdling scream, sure. And then wait for El Demon to show up. Did we get his name? What was his name? Hold on, let me open up my notes.
Wish I had that.
So what time of day do you take the rest of the company down to the brothel?
I think the afternoon.
Okay.
Once everyone's done their shopping and morning actions.
So going down to Minek Ekbek's, the brothel with the snake on the sign, I don't think we ever established, outside of Kelian, who swings both ways, I don't know that we've established anyone else's orientation, but just laying eyes on this beautiful, beautiful incubus, Serenity and Riot want to jump his bones, and the rest of you guys kind of want to jump his bones a little bit. And he sees Kelian approaching. Who was it that came down here yesterday to talk to him a bit? Some of you guys had already met him.
I think that was Kelian.
Yeah, I think it was just Kelian.
Oh, was it just Kelian? Okay.
I think so, yeah.
So you make introductions to Jorneth. And Jorneth takes you guys upstairs into a kind of gaudily decorated room with brightly colored bedclothes and dark colored curtains drawing the windows closed. And he indicates the doorway just across the hall is the door with the portal that only opens once every 100 days and only for an hour.
Mm-hmm. Right after anti-peak, according to my notes.
Yep, the hour directly after anti-peak. So, just confirming, he's turning to Kelian, and he's asking, so you're planning to bring this terrible devil upstairs here just after anti-peak and then ambush him in the room. That's the plan?
That's the plan, yeah.
Who has Kelian's equipment right now?
Serenity will.
Okay.
And what equipment? What is Kelian keeping on his person?
He will give Serenity the crossbow, and I'm debating whether or not I should leave the short sword somewhere hidden in the room, just in case.
There's ample places to hide it. I mean, there's a number of places where you could stick a sword in this room.
Yeah, but if he doesn't have... My concern is that he won't have a chance to grab it before he falls through a portal of pandemonium.
That is a concern, yes.
Yeah, he'll give both his crossbow and his short sword to Serenity.
Okay.
Actually, no. What he's going to do is he's going to give the short sword to Serenity and he'll leave the crossbow in the room.
Okay, you've got two crossbows. Where's this other one sitting? I mean, you're carrying a lot of gear. I mean, there's literally.
I am carrying a lot of gear.
The concern is if you're going to be going out pretending to be like a streetwalker, you have this big lantern hanging off your belt. You've got two crossbows, a sword. You're wearing leather armor and heavy boots. You don't look the part right now. You'll have to doff your armor in order to dress up. You're not going to go walk in the streets wearing. Unless that's your thing.
I don't know. Does he like that? Does he like an adventurer type, or does he like a full innocent Aasimar? No, I'm always good type.
He likes the little waifish pretty boys.
Oh, so not my type. All right.
He's not into facial hair. He's not into big hulking muscles.
Has anyone else figured out that Kelian has to take his leather off to go pick up a gay guy?
I know, right? It's totally like opposite of everything you've heard.
All right.
But just so we're clear, right now, looking at the stuff you're carrying this huge backpack with stuff packed inside and strapped to the side. And
yeah, he will give. Oh God, he's gonna make himself. He will make himself totally vulnerable. So he will give his backpack with his gear, including his armor, to Serenity.
Okay.
Well, pains him a little bit to do this, but greater good, right?
So as
Mahogany looks surprised at where you're hiding some of those things.
What's Riot's question?
Does Kelian own a dagger?
No.
Do you want to borrow mine?
No, that's okay. If as long as the crossbow's hidden in the room, that should be fine.
And this Jornith looks a little concerned and says, "Your plan for taking Basculum out in the room is all well and good, but, honey, you're going to be walking the streets of Sigil."
Are you sure you wouldn't like to borrow the dagger?
Fine, I'll borrow a dagger.
Easily conceivable.
Yes,
yeah,
I will borrow a dagger.
I think you might actually look a little inauthentic without it.
It
might look like you're not able to use it, but...
In addition, Jornith hands you a small sack, a small silk pouch filled with some kind of sand or powder, and says, "Lick the blade of your dagger, coat it with this sand, and one strike will be enough to put any assailant down." So
okay.
All the boys use it.
All right.
Very important to lick the dagger first.
Well, yeah. Since he's level 3 now, he actually gets a bonus with the poisoner's kit. So, sure. Licks the dagger first. Coats the sand on it.
Okay. That pouch has 3 applications, of which one you've just used. Each one is good for 1 strike.
Which is in the backpack, which Serenity now has.
So then Riot and Jornith spend the next hour or so playing dress up with Kelian, getting him all dolled up.
Is there fun montage music while this happens?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay.
Wonderful.
So how's this? Do I have to go out on the street and pick him up, or is this he comes in and I get hooked up with it? Like, is what's his name? My pimp? Is that how this is going to go down? I thought that's how this is going to go down. Since it's
as of now, there are no plans to get you and Basculum together. That was left to your devices. You know approximately where he's going to be trolling around for prey.
All right.
And Lady Ligris informed you that you would have an enchantment that you would be able to see through any magical disguise he used.
Yeah, so you'll recognize the bearded devil.
Okay. All right. All right. Do this. All right.
So, what is Kelian dressed like?
Young, trendy, whatever that would constitute in Sigil, I have no idea, but completely playing the part of what turns Basculum on.
Okay. So on a scale of 1 to 10, with 1 being like Jerry Springer trailer trash, and 10 being like the classiest male prostitute who's out of all of our leagues, like where on that scale are we aiming at?
Full 10.
Full 10.
Full 10. Yeah, no. In for a penny, in for a pound, right?
Gotcha. Okay.
Like, Kelian will get into this. Different hairstyle and everything, shaved, clean cut. Playing the part, man.
Oh yeah, no.
Absolutely.
I mean, Jordan has a bath and has the attendants come in and scrub you down.
Oils, fragrances, all of that.
You get this baby's butt shave happening here.
Nice.
Mount Celestia fashion is really big this time of year.
Waxing the chests,
Yep.
but the downstairs.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
The whole 9 yards. All right.
The whole 9 yards.
Well, come on.
9 yards might be overselling it a little bit.
Well, he's an Aasimar, and they are described as being like the pinnacle of physique. So, they give you this cologne, these anointed oils.
Mani-pedi.
They give you, they trim your hair, give you a nice. How do you want it cut? We'll put it that way.
Keep it long. Give him something to grab onto.
I mean, are we doing the Rachel?
What's the Rachel?
It's a friends thing.
Okay. Short, full, full Backstreet Boy. There we go.
Wow.
All right.
Like flat, cropped, the little thing in front. Yeah.
On your face, in your biceps, in your pecs, the parts that are going to be on display under your costumes, Jornath has you rubbed down with this very warming oil that gives you that. He says it accentuates your skin's natural golden glow. That bit of celestial physique inside of you really brings it out, makes you shine like a beacon on the streets.
Okay.
And yeah, so after an hour or so, they march Kelian out of the room, and the rest of you see him first time in full-on man-whore mode.
Mahogany will whistle.
Now, Mahogany's belief is that everything has its own perfect state.
Kelian is very uncomfortable, but he's doing his best not to show it.
Walk up to Kelian and say, "Look, I don't like you. I'm pretty sure you don't like me, but I've got your back in this. All right."
Kelian's all hurt. I like you.
Riot says, I'd like to have his back too.
First, we have to go through the madness.
Look the part, be the part.
So here's how this is going to go down, Kelian. Because Riot invested so much time in training you for this, and Riot herself is an expert in disguise and fooling people. When it comes time to make your checks to entice Basquiloom, I'm going to give you those rolls with advantage.
Okay. I also got, because I leveled up, proficiency with disguise kit. Okay. Should that matter?
It doesn't in this case because Riot and Jornith were taking care of it.
All right.
So what do the rest of you do? Any other preparations the rest of you make up here in the brothel?
I'm going to...
I'd like to have like a tiny party meeting just to go over procedure in Pandemonium.
Okay. All right. Is this before or after Kelian leaves?
Before Kelian leaves.
Okay.
I want to point out that none of us will be able to hear each other, so we all need to have eyes on somebody in case something goes wrong. I'm going to be watching Kelian. Kelian, who are you watching?
I will watch Mahogany.
Mahogany, who are you watching?
Serenity. Did you not hear that? Serenity.
Yeah. Destil's probably on mute.
Yeah.
Who are you watching, Serenity?
Ciclon.
All right.
I guess that means I'm watching Riot. I guess I'm watching you, right?
So
I would recommend putting the wax in yours before we go through the portal. I know I'll be doing it.
Yeah. Related to that, just so that we don't get, we have at least a couple easy days. I'm going to make some good berries and pass out 2 to everyone. And I'm going to recommend everyone eat 1 now, just so that for the next 24 hours they're not starving.
Gotcha.
Good call. Hopefully we won't only be there longer than a day, but, you know.
Who knows?
Worst comes to worst.
And everyone has rations and chalkboard and wax, right?
Yep. Got mine, yep.
Well, you've got mine.
Kelian, yeah, I've got a travel pack for you right here. We'll throw it on you right before we get to the portal. I'll give you the rest of your gear once we're through.
So what are the 4 of you doing in the room while Kelian is away?
Just playing music, strumming my guitar.
Serenity's meditating.
Ciclon is kind of looking like he's kind of making gestures. Like some might, if people who didn't know him might think he's practicing magic or something, but no, it's something else that he's doing.
Jornith sees that Ciclon is uneasy and asks if there's anything he can do to make him more relaxed.
No, that's quite all right, thank you.
So I can send one of the boys up with a skin of wine.
With what's about to go down, I'd prefer to be sober, thank you.
Ciclon is just immune to fun of all kinds.
Well, no, I mean it's not that. I mean, he's all business right now.
So
it might be time for that later.
The closer
if you want me to calm you down,
the closer in proximity Ciclon gets to the man sex, the more he's all business.
If you want me to calm you down, Ciclon, I can tell you a couple tales. My God, they usually end with everyone dying in the end, but he doesn't. So I mean, it's a win-win.
No, thank you.
So Mahogany's taking this time to use the Goodberry ritual repeatedly. Yes?
It's not a ritual, I don't think.
It's not? Okay.
I think it... Yeah, I just have to cast it. So that took no time at all. Like, I passed everyone 2 good berries. I'm assuming everyone ate 1 of them.
Yeah, gotcha.
And you have 1 left.
So Kelian is alone, walking the streets of Sigil in the lower ward, over near to the Hive. So back in these northern these northern alleys somewhere throughout the central district, which is where Menekek Bex is, and you are drawing a lot of attention to yourself. People are asking for prices. And what are you telling them?
Oh, they can't afford this. For what I want, you cannot provide it.
You get an offer of 40 gold.
Oh.
He's a big man. You seem to have insulted him a little bit by implying that he can't afford it. He's a little tipsy, just wandered out of a bar somewhere. He has a fat purse, and he jingles it. I assure you I can. He's looking you up and down lustily. But he is very pointedly not Basquiloom.
I lean in. I give him a very long, passionate kiss. And then I tell him, next time try and stay sober. Pat him on the chest and walk away.
As you pat him on the chest and kind of walk away, he bellows out, "I won't be talked down to by some whore," and reaches out to grab you. Roll initiative.
Nice.
All right.
You don't have to roll well.
Dude's drunk. So he loses his cipher bonus to initiative.
20.
Okay, yeah, you got him beat. So he's reaching out to grab you and spin you around. He's not done talking to you yet, and he looks like he's about to get violent, but you've beat him on the initiative.
I do have the dagger, but...
And keep in mind, people are watching on the street. This is not happening in isolation.
I bolt.
You bolt.
Yeah, I'm going to, I will double move and then take a bonus action to hide.
Okay, so you're not disengaging, so he still gets to try to grab you.
Oh, well then the bonus action disengage and then...
Disengage and then dash?
Move, yeah.
Okay. Dashing where? Just away from him on the street, or into an alley, or... Into a building?
Away from him, and ideally into an alley. Try and lose him.
And he reaches out, tries to grab you with both arms as you duck underneath him and bolt. Kind of hard to run in these high heels on the cobblestone street.
As I'm running, I wink and I blow a kiss to him.
And duck into an alley. You hear his footballs behind you and his shouts coming up the road. Your turn again.
Double dash. I am going to run. Move twice and then hide as a bonus action.
So you're saying you've got High on Daisy behind you?
Yeah.
That double dash.
I was thinking that, but I didn't say anything. Sorry, what am I rolling? I'm rolling
stealth check.
Stealth. 14.
Okay. And where are you hiding at? Are you just trying to hunker down in the shadows, ducking into a building, trying to hide behind...
Into the shadows.
So you hunker down behind a section of broken wall that has some razor vine coating the outside of it. You manage to slide in underneath it without getting yourself cut and hunker down. And sure enough, a few seconds later, the big man comes running down the alley. And you've definitely lost him. He has no idea where to look. In one hand, he's got his sword drawn, and he's wavering back and forth. And he shouts out, "You're not worth my time anyway. You're probably ravaged with herpes." Sheathes the sword, turns around, stammers back out into the road.
I'll wait a few minutes before, make sure that he's completely gone, sigh, and then walk back out.
You step out of the little corner,
Mark.
back out into the alley, and you hear a voice behind you. 40 gold for someone as new to the trade as you. It's a good payday. Curious as to why you turned it down.
Turn, look at the voice, where it's coming from.
Very handsome human male standing at the against the wall. And you only look at him for a second before you're about to reply, before you see his visage waver a bit, and you see underneath the bearded devil.
Okay.
He's not making eye contact. He's looking directly at your chest.
Is it wrong to wait for the right individual? I say it in a manner that I'm half joking, half playing.
Roll a charisma check. You can make this check with advantage.
Straight charisma?
Yes.
Uh, 20.
And he says, no, not wrong at all. It's 40 gold. It's a bit steep. And I fear that you lack experience.
I pretend to look him up and down.
And doing so, you pretend? How do you pretend to look somebody up and down? You can either do it or
Well,
not.
I can see through him, right?
You
I want to make sure
yeah,
that I'm not, like, oh my god, this is totally not the human that he's pretending to be.
No, he is
pretending to be.
Absolutely the bearded devil.
But I don't want him to know that.
Quick. Put an image of the bearded devil in the Twitch chat, just so we all are on the same page of what this fool looks like. This comes out of the 5th edition monster manual. This is what Kelian sees underneath this guy's magical disguise.
Nice.
Pretty horrifying.
Cool.
He asks if you're interested in an audition.
Audition for what?
He says, well, I'm looking to hire someone for the night. A bit of entertainment for myself, but I'm a man of very particular tastes, and if you don't live up to my expectations, I fear that my one night will be made of disappointment.
Kelian turns his back and starts to walk away and says, well, if you don't like what you see, then I don't know if I'll be able to live up to your kind of expectations then, can I?
So, I like what I see. What I see isn't the problem. The question is, what can you do?
Kelian stops, looks over his shoulder, and he says, well, what did you have in mind exactly? What would you like me to do?
He holds out his hand, his right hand, and all 4 of his fingers have rings on. And he says if you can take the ring off his middle finger, and looking at him now, he has larger proportions than a typical human male. The finger is about 50% longer than a normal man's would be. So if you take it off of my finger, using your mouth, and I can't feel your teeth, we have an arrangement. And he's holding his hand out with his middle finger extended. All the fingers are extended but kind of fanned out, so you have access to them.
Wow.
He says he said he has a ring on every finger.
Yeah, all 4 of his fingers have a ring on. And his other hand as well. He's wearing a lot of jewelry. Not particularly, there's no adornments, there's no stones or markings, they're just metal bands, but you do make note that there's none of silver.
Alright. Without breaking eye contact, Kelian puts 2 fingers in his mouth and gets 2 rings. Do I need to roll for this?
Make a dexterity check.
Okay. At advantage?
No, not advantage, because this has nothing to do with your charisma. This has nothing to do with dress up. This is just Kelian doing what he did.
I'm gonna roll a belief. I'm gonna...
Right. Just two bips to...
2 bips.
Oh, that was almost...
That was really close, yeah.
So what does that come to?
21.
And...
Wow.
The fingers...
I have to spend the points, so,
The fingers taste very hot. in your mouth. They're not hot like warm, hot like spicy. Like, they don't taste like standard human skin, which has kind of the salty, sweaty flavor to it. It's like having fire and brimstone in your mouth and along your tongue. And you manage to get your tongue up between the fingers, and using the muscles of it, wrench the 2 rings off. And you pull your face back and you give him a smile with the ring set between your lips. And he looks very impressed. He says, for a service like that, I would pay 20 gold pieces. And you may keep the rings.
Alright, I spit the rings out of my hand. I pocket them. I say 25.
He nods. Says, very well. Says, come, I know a place.
I follow along.
He's very pointedly taking you away from Menekek Bex. He's taking you somewhere else.
Oh, well. Where are we going?
He tells you he has a room rented out a few blocks up. In a private establishment, not open to the public. He pays very dearly for it.
Oh, no. Nothing like that. Come, I know of a much better place. And I sort of try to lead him to Menekek Bex.
He comes along, but not without asking what you have in mind. Because I know that people in your profession sometimes deal in surprises, but I must admit, I don't like them.
Oh, you've, No surprises, I promise.
So where are you taking me? He's asking.
To this wonderful place that I normally go to. It's fun, it's comfortable, it's anonymous.
More anonymous than my rented room.
Kelian nods.
More comfortable than a place that I have furnished myself to my personal taste.
Kelian nods again.
Where are you wearing the dagger?
I assume that just on his belt loop. He's not making an effort to hide it. It should be there should be assumed that this is totally for protection.
Looking back as the devil is following behind you, you see his eye is flitting back and forth between the dagger and your booty. And he says, a bit of fair warning. If you're planning to use that to ambush me, I can assure you only one of us will have a pleasant evening.
Oh, come now. If I really wanted to use this on you, I already would have.
Roll a charisma check. This one you can't take an advantage. Charisma persuasion.
Persuasion 17.
Okay. He looks very skeptical, but so far he's playing along. When you get him within this eye shot of the brothel, he says, "Ah, yes, I was here my last stay in Sigil. It's a bit gaudy, don't you think?"
Kelian turns and looks at it and says, "Gaudy? Come, that's not gaudy at all." Sort of implying that, he's totally naive and new at this.
Okay. He asks, does the Incubus still manage the place?
Kelian nods.
Says, I had a disagreement with him over a paltry sum of money. He swore that he would never allow me back.
What? That's ridiculous. Why would he do such a thing? Would you like me to talk to him?
Says, "Oh, if you would be so kind. In fact, ask him to join us."
Okay.
So where do you take him?
I tell him to wait outside while I go talk with.
Oh, he's absolutely
what-
not waiting outside in the street for his whore to attend to his business.
Oh, all right. Well, then, yeah, no, I'll bring him in and I'll try to talk to the incubus.
Okay. Going in. First, there's like a lobby area.
Right.
Off to the side of that, there's a large common room where some patrons sit, talk, have drinks, flirt, and whatnot. Jorneth has a private office
Join us.
beyond a hallway off of the common room. So the question is, what do you do with Basquiloom while you go find Jorneth?
Will he wait in the lobby?
If he's
If I try to
provided,
find-
if he's provided a drink, and as long as you don't
Well-
keep him waiting too long, he
Then
seems
yeah,
very
absolutely.
curious, very interested to see where this is going.
Okay. But
He
yeah,
seems
no. It's
less interested in you now, though, and more interested in the situation.
What? Ah, I'm almost offended.
Almost.
Almost. Yeah, no, I'll make sure that, he gets his drink and that he's attended to, and then I go find Jorneth.
Okay. By the time you get back to the brothel and you leave him in the common room, you have a little over an hour until anti-peak. You're shown back into Jorneth's office, and he asks you if you found him.
He wants a threesome. I say flatly.
He's twigged, hasn't he? He knows what you're planning.
I don't think so. I think he senses something's up, but he has no idea what's going on, so I think he's okay with everything so far.
Jorneth stands up. Says, "Well then, let's go have a chat." As soon as the office door opens and he takes you out, his demeanor completely changes. And he becomes the very jovial, flirtatious incubus that was dolling you up before. When you come back out into the common room, Basquiloom has one of the other prostitutes totally captivated. A very young boy, maybe 12 or 13. Sitting on his lap, and he's shed his shirt, so he's topless from the waist up. And Basquiloom is playfully tousling his hair, and he sees Jorneth come in, and he says, "Ah, Jorneth, I was told by your new blood here that I'd be welcome back in your fine establishment." To which Jorneth replies, "As I recall, our misunderstanding was over a paltry sum, easily forgotten, I assure you." Basquiloom nods. Says, "Well, I've changed my mind." Says, "The new one here, very skilled, very pretty, but I think I have this young one instead. Have a room prepared for us, would you?" The kid, his eyes shine up at just the promise of all of this money that he's about to be paid.
Kelian looks hurt.
Does he say or do anything?
No. No.
Okay, then there's
Kelian-
no reaction to
Kelian
you
is-
looking hurt.
Yeah, no, Kelian just looks hurt, a little offended. But the devil wants this kid. He'll be back. That's Kelian. Kelian's thinking that, yeah, no, he can pretend he wants this kid all he wants, but he knows what he likes, so.
Oh, this kid, from what you heard from Ligris, is exactly what he likes.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Fuck.
No, the reason you worked as bait is because you had celestial blood, but this is more his his type right here. Jornith looks. Actually, he doesn't look. He's keeping the same demeanor. He starts kind of stammering out very slowly a plan that, okay, I can have a room set up for you. It might take me a few moments. Obviously waiting for you to fix the situation somehow.
Oh. Alright. Once Kelian gets the sense that Basquiloom is not going to play into him, he goes over and he joins in. He sits on Basquiloom's knee, sort of pushing the kid over a little bit.
Okay.
And says, "Come on now. Don't be like that." This is what you saw. This is what you wanted. Why not have both?
It's an interesting proposition. And he looks to the child. And then back at you. And he says, very well. Then he looks over at Jornith and says, but I'm not paying extra. Jornith kind of stammers out something about having the room prepared and then exits the scene.
Kelian again looks a little hurt. You drive a hard bargain.
So, upstairs, the four of you in the room, you hear footfalls. You hear the door across the way open up, and some things are being moved around. You know this room was already made presentable, so whatever Jordan's in there is just for show. So, Kelian, the question now is, what do you do to keep Basquiloom occupied for the better part of an hour before taking him up to the room? As you're sitting there, you see he's lavishing compliments and money on this little boy. Every titter, every giggle, every movement he makes, he gets gold in return. Just showering it on him.
I'm going to try to make it so I'm more of the focus, more of the attention. I guess I'm competing with this little boy to try and make sure that he's got all of his focus and attention on me.
Okay. And you see that Basquiloom can instantly see this is what you're doing. And make a charisma deception check.
$17.
From Basquiloom's point of view, he's making no effort to hide it, but he loves stringing you along. This is part of the game for him. So what are you doing to keep him entertained for the better part of the hour? We'll start here. Are you drinking?
No.
Not drinking.
Unless he notices.
Oh, he does.
Unless he does. Then yeah, I will furnish a drink as long as humanly possible without getting drunk.
Okay. Speaking of drinks, I just spilled mine. Because I'm 9 years old, apparently. I'm going to go grab a towel and fix that, and I'll be right back.
I guess I'll go fix my own drink. Be right back.
Yeah, I'm going to get some more water.
I hope Brig didn't spill it all over his books or anything. That would be a nightmare. So
Press C to bring up dating HUD.
yep. And yes, I just did post a link to Undertale's dating music.
Nick, it's gonna be way easier for you to push your maid roleplay now.
All right. Sorry about that. Apparently, I'm 9 years old.
You didn't spill it all over your book, did you?
No.
Okay, good.
No, just got my Kindle a little wet. It's fine now.
So
Basculum has wine brought over, and he's pouring wine down this youth's throat. To the point where he's actually using his own hand to tip the cup up, and the wine is pouring down his cheeks and onto his young, hairless chest. And he notices immediately if you're not keeping pace.
every time I think he notices, I take a drink.
Okay.
And Kelian is trying to make it like he will tease him as much as necessary. He will lock lips as much as necessary. Anything to try and get the focus off this kid and onto him.
Okay. And none of it works. Not even a little bit. After half an hour or so,
so I think
the kid is
okay.
sloshed, red in the face, laughing at every little thing.
Kelian goes from being pretend jealous to actually jealous. So he sort of shoves the kid out of the way.
Okay.
And pushes Basculum down to the bed.
Well, there's no bed. Right now he's sitting on a sofa in the common room.
Then pushing him down onto the sofa.
Make a dexterity saving throw.
Okay. 9. 11. Sorry, 11.
You kind of push the kid jealous. You push the kid out of the way. He topples onto the floor and is laughing hysterically. You shove Basculum back onto the sofa and move in for him, and as soon as you do, with lightning fast reflexes, he reaches out, grabs the dagger out of your belt, and holds it up to your neck. And he just sits there waiting for you to react.
Kelian grins and locks lips. Like it rough, huh?
Because the man is entitled to defend himself. How rough do you like it?
How rough can you make it?
He says, in a low voice, so I mean, you've attracted the attention of almost everybody in the room at this point.
Well, who else is in the room?
Several of the other whores and their marks. The temperature of the room down here isn't all hot and bothered like it would be upstairs. It's more of a tavern setting downstairs.
Mm-hmm.
And he leans in and he says, so nobody else can overhear, that the one advantage of someone as old as you is that sometimes they're willing to indulge in violence. He asks you to stick out your tongue.
To what intent?
And then you see all of his human facade, the one that he has magically put up to disguise himself. The facial features on it, his expression, immediately goes extremely serious and a little threatening. And he says, "Question me one more time and I'll put it in your gut."